Hey everyone, it's Mari Clark here with another project for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to just show you here the card, the final project card that we're going to be creating today. And then I'm going to show you some of the products that I used, and then I'll take you through the process. So this is the really awesome Love Enclosed stamp set. This is very unique and I just love it. I think it's super, super cool. And there's some really neat little envelope images here and a ton of sentiments that you can use to create some really, really interesting projects. I also love those little corner stamps and lots of really cute little embellishments that you could use on projects that you might be creating. So just love this. And I used a couple of the sentiments from this set to create the front of my card here. So you can see on the front of my card, I've got mail and love, and those two words were stamped out using that Love Enclosed stamp set. I'm also going to use the Love Enclosed honey cuts, and this is so cool. And what I really just love so much about it is this really adorable little envelope die. So on the top there, the one I'm pointing at there, actually die cuts out the little envelopes that I'm going to be using on my card. And so all the score lines are provided. It cuts it out perfectly. You just fold that up and you have just the most adorable little mini envelope. And the other dies also create things like a little insert that fits perfectly inside of the envelope. You could also stamp things like the outside of an envelope on this to create the actual, like if it was actually the front of an envelope, etc. So there's just some really cute little coordinating bits as part of the Love Enclosed and Love Enclosed honey cut stamp and die set. Absolutely love this. I think it's genius. There's so many things you can do with this. One of the dies is also like the two squares that are scored in the center to create almost like this little book effect, which is so adorable. I love that. And I just feel like there's so many things that you can do with this die set. I also am going to be using the Pocket Full of Love honey cuts, and I'm going to just pull out the one honey cut out of here that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a bunch of them, but I will be showing you which one specifically. You can just see here this coordinating stamp set works with these dies, and I think this is another just really super genius set. I love how this works. And this die specifically, I did not deburr it or take it apart because I like the idea of being able to just cut that as one single in one single swipe, and I'll show you how I'm going to use that as a little border on my card today. And then you can see all of these tiny little buttons and hearts that I have used to embellish my little envelopes. So sweet. And I used these honey cuts to create those. So super, super adorable. I'm also going to use part of the Pocket Full of sentiment for the front of my card today. And that came from that Pocket Full of Love stamp set, obviously, that I showed you there. So those are the products. So let's get to it. I started off with some cardstock, just rainbow cardstock from my stash. So I just went through and I grabbed just a bunch of different colors in the rainbow pattern. And once again, my inspiration this week was the beautiful rainbow paper pad from Honeybee Stamps. I don't think I show it to you, but I will definitely be linking it down below. But here you can see all of the bits that I cut from that cardstock using those dies, and of course these are those sweet little envelopes. So what I did was I just stuffed those envelopes full of all of the little heart die cut pieces, and then I embellished the front of each one of the envelopes with one of those little buttons, and I just love how that looks. I think anything mini is just the sweetest thing, and these little mini envelopes are the most adorable little thing I've ever seen. I just love them. So I'm just going to use my tweezers and just try to poke these little hearts in there and work them in. And then I just use a little bit of liquid adhesive to glue all of these little hearts inside. I did use glue dots on the front flaps of the envelope. So I'm just going to show you here how I just stuck a glue dot in there and kept those closed in that way. Now my card base is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to use, like I said, this piece of rainbow paper from the rainbow 6x6 rainbow paper pad from Honeybee Stamps to embellish the front. And my idea was I just thought I would run those envelopes up the edge of that rainbow paper to finish the edge of the paper off on the front of my card. So you can see here I've got all of these little envelopes finished. I've got them all glued together and I just love them. I think they're the sweetest thing, and They were so easy to create, and I did them all. I created all of those little pieces with the dies from the Pocket Full of Love die set. So this is that die, once again, that I'm showing you. It's for embellishing, or it was created to go with the Pocket Full of Love stamps, where you can create, and the dies, the pocket dies, to create the stitching for the pocket. But I just thought it would be so cute to finish the edge of my card, and so that's what I used there. Now I'm going to stamp out the Pocket Full of Sentiment from the stamp set, and I'm actually only going to be using the full of, as you saw on the front of the card. I'm going to put that stamp onto my Misty on some Neenah Solar White cardstock in 80 pound. I'm going to stamp that out with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, which is just a really crisp ink pad. I really love this for stamping out sentiments. It just creates a really nice impression. It's a really nice crisp image. So you'll just see me stamping that out. I'm going to swing my Misty door over, and I'm going to get that all nicely inked up. And then I'll take the die from the Pocket Full of Love Honey Cuts, and I'll die cut that out. And of course, then I'll just use the full of on the front of my card. Then I'm going to take the Love Enclosed stamp set, and I'm going to stamp out two sentiments here, love and mail. And I'm going to just cut those out in strips, and I'm going to use those on the front of my card as well. Now I cut down that rainbow paper in a smaller piece, and it's just going to go across about 2/3 of the front of my card. And now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take those sweet little envelopes, and I'm going to kind of line them up in a not straight line. So the bottom one, the pink one's going to be kind of a little bit more straight than the other ones, just because I wanted it to kind of cover up the edge of that rainbow paper at the bottom. And then I'm just going to kind of squeeze them all together in a nice tight row so that they all fit on the front. This card definitely has some dimension, but I'm okay with that. And I just think the front of this card is super, super adorable. It's so sweet, and I just love the rainbow effect. I think it's great. So I did line up my envelopes in the same rainbow order as the paper, obviously. And now I'm just going to take those three sentiments that I have, the mail and full of and love, and I'm going to pop those up on a little bit of foam adhesive and get those adhered down to the front of my card, and then my card front is going to be finished. Now I also wanted to take that same pattern paper and stick it to the inside of my card, so just to finish off that edge of the card and continue that rainbow paper over to the side in that way. Now I had one more little envelope left, so I'm going to put that at the bottom on the inside of my card, and I'm going to take all of the extra little hearts and buttons that I had left over, and I'm going to glue those in a little rainbow fashion line and stick those down to getting down to where the envelope is. I think I changed the order of them in color so that they actually match the order of the rainbow colors on the pattern paper. But when it's all finished, I'll show that to you so you can see how that looks when it's all glued together and finished and good to go. Now, there is still plenty of room on the inside of the card to write a message to the recipient. And so I made sure that there was still plenty of white space for that purpose. So now I'm just going to take my tweezers, I'm going to get these all positioned, and then I'll just take some Nuvo liquid adhesive and get these all stuck down in where the areas where I want them to be glued down. And this is just a really nice little fun bit of detail for the inside of my card. I really like how this worked out, and I just think that it looks super fun and festive, and you could give this card for a zillion different celebrations. It's a very, very generic card. Could be given for a graduation. It could be given for a birthday. I mean, really, the sky's the limit, because the sentiment on the front says mail full of love. So there are many reasons why you might want to give this card. I really like how this turned out. I think it's super cute. I just think that these sets of stamps and honey cuts are just genius. I think there is so many things that you could do with these. And I had so much fun creating this card today. A couple of still shots for you, close-ups of my card, and that's going to be it. Please make sure you check the links in the description box below to all the products that I used today. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.